Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with various win for the Maple Bay and the Hot Shots 9-hole cup. Before we take a closer look at videos, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the next climb in the game, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy or you scan the QR code that is on the left side of the screen. There you can get our exclusive tour text guides and or the ultimate tournament text guides, the best guides on the market to start winning more. We are doing content for the 9-hole cup, so that is some bonus content for this month, and that is for all the Patreons, so make sure to subscribe to any package that we do have. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions, so you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. Hole number 1, we're gonna start with the power 3 ball at max, and we're gonna use the red ring by the rough line to the right with our Apocalypse level 8. Obviously with them we're going to have different overlap with the other Apocalypse levels of clubs. Max top spin, 1 right spin here, and we're gonna make an adjustment that is max plus 10 power 5 ball settings. But before we make our adjustment, we're switching to a Luminary, because the Luminary is the ball we do want to have, because we do not want to use any overpower here, especially when we have a minor headwind. When you play with Apocalypse level 5, use 2 rings of overpower, and then Apocalypse level 6, you use 1 ring of overpower to compensate for the lesser topspin. 0.75 ball of right curl is what we're gonna use, and we do want to get this ball down the top right of the fairway. Bounces nicely on the fairway over the bunker, and we are then having that roll, and we're looking to be around 390, I think, if I'm not mistaking it incorrectly. Nice. Second shot, now I don't have an elevation number there. That's because I don't have a number made up for as much elevation we're actually going to use. We're going to use 90, yes, 90 elevation, and we're going to use max backspin, and we're going to have 0.8 bar of right spin. Now the key here now is to have the tip of the ball guideline pointing towards the left side of the cup, just outside of it like that, and being 1 green square above. So you can see that by the edge of the bright green square, and then just on the left of the cup. Now, what we're gonna do is that we are using yardage here. So 395 yards, I'm playing this one, 36% slider, 90% elevation, P5 numbers. I would, however, recommend to give us a pin check or a fringe or something like that instead, because as it's not a complete linear way of playing this hole, especially when we're hitting a great left or great right, that will be a problem. We do want to get the ball back past the pin, and then we roll down into that little groove that we do have there on the green, which I remember this shot being extremely consistent and something that I really enjoyed to play. An eagle to start with on hole number 1. Hole number 2, with tailwind, we're gonna play an NMT, which is half a bar left spin and 5 top spin. Here we don't have to tweak for any of the Apocalypse levels, as we all going to have, regardless if we have Apoc 5, 6, 7 or 8, we're gonna have 5 top spin on our club, and we're all gonna have the same power. Adjustment, max plus 15 power 3 ball settings. Here you can play with a Win 4 ball as well if you would like. The reason I'm playing with a Win 5 ball is due to the fact that I do not want to have as high wind on the second shot here on hole number 2. Bounce on the fairway, and now we're gonna get that little rollout which we are looking for, which is perfect. We want to be around 380 yards. Second shot, then we're gonna play a double bounce rough bump. This is the only way from this direction to get an albatross. If you do not feel confident with that, use your sniper, use all the backspin and aim on the right side of the rough and sand and the water and bounce the ball to green. You can see here now we are playing at +2, and we're gonna have the landing position as a reference here, using just a little bit of topspin, 1.7 topspin to have to be more accurate. So from +2, we're playing 61% slider, plus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. Center the ball and hit perfect, and we're gonna see ourselves having a good chance for a drop, in my opinion. This is probably, I don't know, probably, but this together with hole number 9 is definitely going to be the tougher par 5s to get a drop on. Bounce into the rough, dead center, lovely albatross on hole number 2. For hole number 3, with this win, we do have a possibility to do a rough bump, which is always going to be a nice little possibility. Here I'm starting with a power 1 ball in complete max distance, then I'm swapping to a power 2 ball using 1.9 backspin and 1 left spin. You can see here that the ball guideline is 1 green square right of the pin. Adjustment is maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment. Power 0 ball number. A lot of rains though, especially in the highest winds. Pulling very slowly to make sure that I do pull the accurate numbers, and then I'm pulling straight. Center the ball. Hit perfect. And hitting perfect here allows you to have a very good chance for an hole-in-one. I remember this from a previous tournament. A great left was fine, a great right was death. And have in mind that you can play many different ways on hole number 3, and this is just an example of how you can play it. Hole number 4, when we do have a crosswind or a headwind, we're going to have to play on the right hand side. If you do want to see a reference in terms of going towards the green, then please check out the pro and expert playthrough where I go through it there. Starting at the top of +6 and half of the white ring, the 4th ring by the rough line there to the right. Max topspin, adjustment max +10, power 4. Full left curl, and we're gonna play in this case 3.5 ring of overpower for a shot with Apocalypse 5 and 6, 100% overpower all the time. The goal is to go over the rough, roll up the hill, and then just roll back a little bit and settle around 360 yards. Now, for the second shot, we're going to play a rough bump with our B52, and we're going to do either a fringe check or we're going to do a pin check here. It all depends on what distance you do have off tee. What needs to be said with this shot here is that we do not have a complete straight rough line, which is here we're going to have to rely on our ball guidelines position through the hole, because we're not going to be able to play with the red ring by the rough line all the time, because that's going to be angle dependent on where you end up after your drive. Adjustment though is a 30% elevation, and then whatever sliders. In this case we have a +1 pin shake, and I play 33% slider with this power 4 ball setting. Center the ball, hit perfect, and this will be a good chance, because a rough bump like this will always be a good chance in my opinion. Swirly in from the right, I'll take that all day and every day. Do you have to play with a Spartan ball here? We do recommend to play with a Wind 5 ball, but it's not a must, but it will obviously be tougher because, yeah, again, more wind in your face is going to make it harder to bounce over the rough and the sand. Hole number 5, and here we're gonna go aggressive as we do have a tailwind. We do want to have a wind that is somewhere around 12 to 13.5 miles per hour here, using NMT, meaning we're not touching the target until it's time to adjust the reins. Max topspin and 2 left spin, and we're making an adjustment of max +10, power 5. When it comes to the push up here, we're gonna push up the absolute very max. When it comes to Apocalypse level 6 users, we do recommend to have a wind that is somewhere around 13.5 and 15 miles per hour. And when it comes to Apoc 5, we do want 14.5 to 16 miles per hour here. This to compensate for the lesser topspin on those clubs. Approximately half a ball of left curl and max overpower. Bounces on the fairway over the rough, and now we are in a very nice situation for the second shot. If you're looking for ideas of how to play this one in headwind, please check out the Pro and Expert playthrough where I go through that type of route there. Second shot now, we're gonna have a short iron towards the pin. Now, I personally enjoy to play the rough bump here. And the reason I want to do that is because I then reduce the secondary wind effect from the equation, at least as much as I possibly can. So I'm using 2 left spin. I'm using, in this case as well, some top spin to have the ball guideline to go just past the hole. I'm also aiming on the left side because to compensate for the slight wind push that we're gonna have due to the tailwind. No elevation here, we're having a pin check to follow, and here in the specific video we play no elevation, P5 numbers, and the pin check from plus 11 gives us 46% slider. Center the ball and hit perfect, and this is going to be a good chance to lock in the albatross on hole number 5. So I would say like this, hole number 5, if we do have a tailwind, this is going to be a super good chance for an albatross, but if we do have a headwind, it's going to be a really tough one to get anything else than an eagle. Hole number 6, we're going to play with 3.5 bar backspin. And we're going to play with our quarterback. So here I would recommend to set up with a ball that do not have any side spin, so that will be much easier for you. Now ball guideline into the hole with the inner ring just slightly overlapping the rough line. 8.3 is going to be a 1-to-1 adjustment, which is max, no elevation, P4 numbers. Adjustment is done. Have in mind that when you're pulling down into the bunker, you will lose part of the ball guideline, so that's going to be difficult to then adjust accurately. So pull slowly, otherwise you will be struggling of hitting the intended landing spot. Center the ball and hit perfect. There we go. The ball will then bounce into the rough nicely, double bounce sorry, not double bounce, 1 bounce on fairway, 1 bounce on green, and then roll dead center for a lovely hole-in-one on hole number 6. Hole number 7. Now we're gonna send it to green. If you're looking for a layup example, then please check out the Pro and Expert playthrough where I go through it there. But now we do have tailwind, where we do have more tailwind than what we do have crosswind. We are going to send it. So adjustment is going to be max plus 10 power 5 ball settings, and then we're going to apply spins based on wind strength. So 7.6 miles per hour we are going to, in this instance, as we do have a tailwind angle, we're going to play 2.3 backspin, and we're going to play then a 3 right spin. So it's always going to be important to look at both the wind strength and also the wind angle to determine what adjustment when it comes to the spins that you're gonna do. Max curl to the left with a slower needle. Bounces on the fairway and then takes the turn once coming over to the fairway, and it gets up towards the green and roll down. There has been several players getting a hole-in-one on this hole here, because getting past the green in the correct angle is gonna give you a nice little roll back towards the pin. I'm not gonna sit here and say that this shot's gonna be a hole-in-one all the time, but the chance is there. Hole number 8. When we do have a headwind, we're gonna play from absolute minimum distance with our quarterback using 6 backspin and 1 left spin. You can now look at the ball guideline. We're looking to point towards, I would say it's pointing towards the left side of the cup, if I'm going to be reading that one correct. The thing is, when aiming so far up here, right, we're playing from minimum distance. When we do make our adjustment, which is going to be minimum distance with a 35% over adjustment, power 4 ball settings, we are then gonna fall down to a lower point. And what will happen then is that we're going to then fly less, right? So when we do fly less here, we're gonna have our landing spot not landing spot, but we're gonna have our first bounce way further back than when we are aiming. And that's why we can actually play from the spot that we are without risking falling down into the bunker. Perfect ball it is, and we are bouncing on the fairway over towards the green and takes the turn. I'm dropping it dead nuts for a lovely hole-in-one here on hole number 8. If we do play with a tailwind, it's going to be a sniper towards the pin. There is also possibilities to go backspin boost shots and stuff like that as well. This is a tough par 3 with some wins, and some wins it's actually a fairly easy one. Hole number 9, and we're gonna play with Kingslayer, or let's say like this, we're gonna play with a power 3 ball and win for side spin 2+ ball. Blue ring by the rough line to the right with the rock level 9. Rock level 8 also starts at max. The only difference is that the rock 8 will have to push up 1 yard after the adjustment. 4.5 bar top spin to right spin, and we are just adjusting max plus 10. We would recommend to favor 1159 in this case, or let's say play with an 1159, because that will allow us to play a little bit further away from the bunker. I'm not doing that in the video, and you will see how close I am with my first bounce to the rough line. 1.5 ball of a right curl and try to hit perfect. Goal here is to get up around 390 yards. You see how close we are with the first bounce there. So once again, 1159 off tee is definitely going to be recommended. So we're looking to be once again up to around 390 yards, 386, a little bit shorter than what I want to, but we can still make it work. Now we're gonna do a yardage check here, or like a landing position check. So in this instance, we are just before +1 yard mark. Now, it's very important to leave the ball guideline short here, and the reason for that is due to the fact that the ball will have an extended ball guideline, and it's super easy to come in hot on this hole. So here I'm playing 67% slider with a 15% elevation and P3 numbers, and I'm playing with no spin. Adjustment is made. Make sure to center the ball and hit perfect for the best possible chance. Hole 9. The difficult part with this one, I've said that in the other playthroughs as well, is to judge the speed that the ball will come into the green with. And having to offset like we're doing here now is always going to be difficult to be exactly accurate. Getting it dead center though for a lovely albatross is not something I will complain about. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division with Various Wind here for the Maple Bay and the Hot Shots 9-hole cup. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Also, get the Ultimate Tournament Guide for Master Division, the Hot Shots 9-hole cup, and also for future Master Division tournament by scanning the QR code that is here on the screen, or that you go into your browser and type www.patreon.com/GolfClashTommy. Thank you so much everybody for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.